Cause I be sparking and rushing mad like inside the dark. Call me Will Snatcher, just a brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my same like a lot.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generation's discussion on the fallout from Boruto Chapter 71. And today I want to talk to you guys about the major ramification of Amado being revealed to have placed a shutdown code onto Kawaki. This has led to some people wondering if, during the flash forward sequence, if Amado might end up being the cause of the destruction that we see in the future because he might be controlling Kawaki. So, jumping right in, I can kind of see why people make this assumption. Amado is one of those characters who appears to be in that morally gray area that Masashi Kishimoto loves to write characters in, where he's not black nor is he white. He's in that gray zone. At times it gives off the vibes of Madara, like he's manipulating everything, but also at times you almost want to believe that he's somebody who has a good natured intention that just happens to see things through the perspective that means that the means justifies the end. This has led to some people thinking, what if Amado is the one who drills into Kawaki's head the ideology that the age of the shinobi is over? I don't think it's the craziest thing either. There's a lot we don't know about Amado, but what we do know is that he's got an ulterior motive that we haven't been told just yet, and now that he's the only one with the shutdown code for Kawaki, he's the only one who can effectively control Kawaki, something that will undoubtedly alarm the other Kage because they specifically warned Naruto that Amado couldn't be trusted and appear to be orchestrating everything for a bigger purpose. Shikamaru has been openly suspecting Amado of plotting something and using selective honesty up to this point, going so far as to confront him on the Hokage rooftop that he appeared to be in control of all the events and that everything seemed as if it was going according to Amado's plan. We now have learned that Shikamaru's suspicions were right the entire time because Amado confirmed that he'd been planning this entire thing from the start and that Kawaki was the key. Let's be real here. Amado, regardless of his intentions, whether they be good or bad, has proven himself to be too dangerous of a character due to his high level of intellect, the ability to see the entire chessboard before he makes a move, and most importantly, he's patient enough to wait for the right opportunity to present itself to manipulate a situation into something more favorable for himself. It's not crazy to think that he manipulates Kawaki. He's essentially the villain version of what Shikamaru would be like if Shikamaru was a bad guy. He's the smartest guy in the room who manages to leverage every situation to where he can't be disposed of, and even when it looks like his time's run out, like it did when he took off Code's limiters, you realize that he already came up with a contingency plan to live another day. Naruto would be very smart to take the same approach that Jigen did, which is keep Amado close and be very wary of him, especially when it comes to Kawaki, which we as readers know there's something that sets Kawaki off in the future. That could very well be Amado. Jigen might have only been a vessel for Ishiki, who was physically alive inside of him and controlling his actions, much like a puppet master controls a puppet. But he knew that Amado was too dangerous to ignore and too valuable to outright dispose of him. It's making sense why Jigen ordered for the cyborgs that Amado was responsible for making for them to be destroyed. Just sit back and think about this for a second. You have this guy, Amado, who according to the Boruto manga profile pages has car outer members stealing information, stealing technology from all the ninja villages all over the continent, and even beyond that, places like the Land of Valleys where Victor's medical company was located that you saw in the car actuation arc, and he's taken that technology to improve the nanotech that he created that became the cellular level ninja tech that all the car inner members have had pumped into their bodies. If that isn't enough, this same ninja tech that he created made use of the Hashirama cell data that was released to the public and the private corporations under Kakashi as Hokage, who had the intention of helping modern citizens with medical issues to improve their everyday lives. Data that Tsunade played a huge role in gathering because she not only studied the Hashirama cells directly as well as the bodies of the Zetsus, but she also studied the enhanced Hashirama cells that Kabuto created that were given to Edo Madara and to Sasuke in the war when Kabuto healed Sasuke from near death after fighting Madara and pumped him full of enhanced Hashirama cells. Amado took this information as well as the stolen Hashirama cells and implemented it into the ninja tech that's now inside of the Kara inner members. Jigen saw that Amado's ninja tech didn't come without risk, because while you did have some people like Kawaki and Code who were pumped full of this ninja tech who had no issues with their bodies, people like Garou revealed in episode 188 of the anime that their bodies rejected the procedure, with Garou losing his arms in the process. However, those who did survive went from being naturally born humans to possessing incredible amounts of power. We saw Kara inner members like Delta become strong enough to fight a suppressed six-pass Naruto. We saw Victor and Boro with extremely high-speed regeneration that made them a nuisance to deal with. Most importantly, Jigen saw that some of the earlier people enhanced by Amado, like Code, Ada, and Damon, were in possession of raw combat strength that exceeded his own, with Jigen being the vessel for an Otsutsuki and being 100% genetically Otsutsuki because Ishiki's karma had outright extracted. Science by Amado had proven to be a real problem here. Even if Damon was the only one with the power to outright kill Jigen with no issues at all, and the other cyborgs were only slightly stronger than Jigen, the sheer numbers of what Amado possessed was more than enough to be a problem for Jigen. He would ultimately die, Ishiki would be revived into a body that couldn't contain his chakra, and the sheer numbers of people who had power levels above Jigen would make it harder for even somebody as strong as Ishiki to survive long enough to get back to Kawaki and give Kawaki the karma seal, because once Jigen died, Kawaki's karma would go away. Damon is only one of the cyborgs that Jigen feared enough to have them destroyed, and we saw with how easily he was able to wreck Code that Jigen had very good reason to be afraid of people like Damon. Now, if you're Naruto, you also have really good reason to be afraid as well. Amado not only has a shutdown code on Kawaki, the strongest person in the village, which essentially gives him control over Kawaki, and also lets him keep an iron grip around Naruto's Hokage because Naruto has to tread carefully around him, but he's also now coming to the village with two more cyborgs who are stronger than Jigen and strong enough that Naruto and Sasuke stand no chance, and Boruto, while he is Otsutsuki, isn't strong enough to be an insurance policy against Amado. Naruto has essentially been forced to play with the cards that Amado's handing out to him. The cards are all in Amado's hands right now. Even with Ada saying that they aren't allies, Amado has something of value to offer to her, which is access to Kawaki. As long as he placates her, Ada will be happy, and by extension, so will Damon. His grip over Konoha has gotten stronger, and now he's directly holding the shutdown sequence over Kawaki. That grip is only going to tighten, and if he squeezes Kawaki hard enough, he might very well explode, with that explosion being that Kawaki's manipulated into doing what Boruto said during the flash forward sequence, which is going too far with his as of now unknown actions. Kawaki wants to speak to Amado. He wants to know why he gave him the karma against his will, and whatever answer Amado has is going to be calculated. And if Amado holds any grudges towards the Shinobi world, depending on how he answers the questions that Kawaki's has and interacts with them in the future, Kawaki's ideology in the future could be shaped by Amado here. In a series like Boruto, which is the sequel to Naruto, it's been exploring the question, can science and ninjutsu coexist in this world together? We have a character in Amado who is the embodiment of everything except for that belief. Whereas Naruto and Sasuke believe working towards a world where science and ninjutsu can coexist next to one another, Amado leans heavily into science, into what he can calculate and anticipate. He isn't someone who puts his chips into something invisible that the eye can't see, like the will of fire that Naruto and the people in Konoha believe in. I won't rule out that there is something here, and if it is, Shikamaru's been playing chess the whole time, doing a solid for Naruto by essentially playing defense when Naruto doesn't have his eye all the way on the ball, having Amado placed on Katasuke's team, having Sumire there to observe, having Amado's research data handed over to Konoha, because the only way to counter someone or control someone who has all the options and somebody who has proven that their own self-interest come before anyone else, the only way to fight that person is to fight fire, with this case being fighting fire with science. However, where do you guys stand on this? Is Amado the reason that Kawaki comes to belief that the age of Shinobi's over. While you think that over, consider watching these other videos on the screen right now.